So now you've learned how to create a virtual machine. We've talked a little bit about how to network a virtual machine with Azure Virtual Networks. Let's talk now about disks and virtual machines. And when you create a virtual machine, as we saw earlier, an operating system or an OS disk is created automatically. If you want to, you can save data to that OS disk. In fact, if you install software in your virtual machine, it will likely be installed on that OS disk by default. However, you could also add another disk to your virtual machine as I showed you earlier, and this additional disk is called a data disk. Now when you add a data disk to your VM, you can choose to use either a standard hard drive or a solid-state drive. The SSD solid-state drive is faster, it's more reliable, but it also comes with a higher price. Now, there are many configurations for data disks that meet just about every need. You can choose not only the size of your data disk, but you can also choose the speed at which it performs. Data disks are encrypted, so your data remains secure, and you can share a data disk across multiple virtual machines. When you create a data disk, you can choose to create a new disk from scratch. But you can also choose to create a disk from a snapshot of another disk or from blob storage, and we're going to look at what blob storage is a little bit later. So with that foundation of knowledge set, let's return to the Azure portal and let's have a look at data disks in action. So we're back here looking at our virtual machine, the one we created a short while ago, VM2. We know we have an OS disk here. We looked at the options for disks when we created this, but we didn't create a data disk, we just looked at the options. So what I want to do now is I'm going to create a data disk and add it to this machine. So I'm going to click on the disks menu option right here, and I see no data disks attached. So what we're going to do is we're going to create and attach a new data disk. So I'm going to click right here. And you can give this disk anything you want to. We'll just call it GSWA data. Storage type is Premium SSD. We can also choose Premium SSD v2. We can also choose Standard SSD or Standard HDD. We can specify the size of the disk. We can specify the encryption. So this is a platform managed key, and we can specify host caching. I'm just going to leave that at read only. So once you got everything specified the way you want to, just click on Save right here, and that saves that disk. That disk has now been created. It's now updating the virtual machine with that disk that it was created, and now it is successfully updated that. Now if I wanted to assign a drive letter, remember this is a Windows virtual machine. If I wanted to assign a drive letter we just created, maybe I want to make that the D drive. What I would need to do is note the name I just gave this disk, and then I would just simply go into disk management in the operating system. I'd have to remote into that virtual machine. And I would go into disk management, and I would make sure that I've configured that disk as drive letter D, kind of the same thing in Linux. You can create a mount point for whatever disk you create easily inside of Linux as well. So that's how you create a data disk and attach it to a virtual machine.